All right, let's get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's webinar. My name is Rob Peoples. I'm a sales coach with over 17 years of experience in the mortgage industry. I've also worked with a ton of different fields, such as realtors, financial advisors, insurance folks, you name it. But today we're going to be talking about the slow time of the season for those mortgage professionals, for those appraisers, and you, realtors. Again, realtors, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you. But today we're going to talk about stop blaming the holidays, and we're going to talk about starting to sell. Okay. Look, I get it. The holidays can be slow. People are busy. It's a weird time right now with interest rates and markets and people being unsure about what will or will not happen, right? Nobody has a crystal ball, but there are things inside of our control that we can do. Okay. And I'm talking about things that are outside the realm of marketing. I'm talking about things that are outside of running a great Facebook page. I'm talking about more than just staging the home properly and having wonderful photos. I'm talking about the things that we're going to do with our mouths. Okay. What are the things that we should be saying to potential sellers, potential buyers during this time of the year? Well, let's go ahead and dive into it. And again, thank each and every one of you. Looks like we have quite a few of you joining us today. Thank you for joining us. So let's get into this thing. So here's our agenda. I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about what is sales, okay? I'll also hit on two fundamental reasons why people buy something. And I think both of these philosophical points are very important to help you understand what's going to motivate a buyer during this season versus relying on having to sell. And I think that's really important. And then next, we'll get into why you're here, which is how do we create holiday urgency? And some different tactics that I'm going to talk about is one, getting past the pink bathroom. I know some of you realtors are probably laughing because you can show people a house, it's an awesome house, and then you get to the pink bathroom and boom, oh, I don't like this house anymore, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about some strategy around that. Secondly, I'm going to teach you all how to do something called a sliding scale question. I want to wait. Let me think about it. Call me next year. Not sure if this is the right time. These are all very convenient objections during the holidays, and generally speaking, from my experience in 17 years in sales and mortgages, it's generally a smokescreen or some other hidden reason why that person isn't comfortable, purchasing or listing the home right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about how a sliding scale question mentality can help you flush out the truth. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about follow-up. I'm going to share with you 3 very simple tactics that you can execute to speed up the interaction, to speed up the sale. Look, follow-ups are good, right? But the more we stay in control of our follow-up and the more we keep our clients interested in following up with us, the better. So we're going to talk about some tactics there. I'm going to talk about waiting till the spring, and we're going to look at things potentially from a logical standpoint. There's going to be some emotion in there too, but from a logical standpoint, we're going to talk about waiting until spring, waiting until summer. We're going to talk about losses and gains. All right. Next, I'm going to talk to you about a fun little thing that I often laugh about when I share with people, but it's a little tactic I call it. It's okay. I found a way. And finally, we're going to talk about painting a vision heading into it. So let's dive right into it. So I want to talk about this first. So everybody kind of just let this sink in for a minute. And this is my own personal definition of sales. I didn't read this in a book somewhere, okay? But just let this sink in for a minute. Sales is getting your buyers and your sellers thinking about things that they are not already thinking about. Sales is getting your clients to think about things they weren't thinking about when they woke up this morning with their Cheerios, right? Sales is getting people to think about things that they can't read themselves online. That's another way to look at this. But sales is more than just having a great listing and having great photos and doing great online marketing. Sales is really taking it to the next level and getting your clients to think about things they're not thinking about without you putting an influence on that decision. So that's philosophy number 1. And I think that's a huge reason why some of the tactics that I will share with you today are really vital. Because if you aren't getting people thinking about things they don't know, then that's more of a retail sale, because all you're doing is pointing out things on a shelf that they can find for themselves. So as realtors, how do we become better salespeople? Through the art of getting people to think about things they're not. Okay. Let's get into another sales tactic, philosophy. This is from me. This is not from some book, okay? And I don't claim to have the way of looking at anything. Let me just say that out loud. But I do have a way for every single person that I interact with to consider. So please, as I move forward, remember that. I never claim to have the way of doing anything. I have a way for you to consider. And I invite you all to please take what you like and leave what you don't as we continue to progress through today's webinar. Because you chose to be here. Again, take what you like, leave what you don't. But I want to get into fundamental number 2. All right, there are 2 reasons why somebody will buy something. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a huge proponent of getting people to buy versus making them feel like they're being sold something. Being sold something feels yucky, right? Being sold something, nobody likes to be sold something, right? But I want to talk to you about, well, in order to create a buyer, right, we have to understand the fundamental reasons that people will buy. So let's think about that for a minute. The first reason somebody will buy is they do not have it, right? But they need it, right? The second reason somebody will buy is they already have it, or it is broken, it's outdated, or it's potentially deficient in some type of way, right? So, sorry for that for a second, but I want to back up, right? Let's look at question number 1. If they don't have it, i.e. a house, they need it, right? Because they're renting. If they don't have the house size that they want, they need it, right? Well, that actually falls into number 2, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let me put some real world examples. Number 1, right? They don't have it, but they need it. If you don't have groceries, what do you need? Groceries, right? Thank you for those of you that chimed in there. Groceries, right? Naturally. If you don't have a suit and you have a big job interview, you just graduated college, what do you need? You need a suit, right? Now let's back up. When you need groceries, do you tell your family that you're going to go out and be sold to groceries? No, I'm going to go buy some groceries. I got to go get groceries, right? When you are a college kid and you say, I need to go get a suit for a job interview, are you going to say, I'm going to go out and be sold a suit today? No, you're generally going to say, I got to go buy a suit. And that's the difference. When you need something, you have a tendency to gravitate towards going to buy it versus being sold something, okay? So part of what we'll be talking about today is how do we create a need where maybe a need did not exist, okay? Number 2, I already have it, but it is broken, outdated, deficient. So let's give you an example of those. If you are driving a 2025 BMW 3 Series that was your dream car, you're still showing it off to all of your friends and family. It's got all the features that you want. Let me ask you, do you have a reason to go buy a new car? No. It's perfect, right? It's got no miles on it. It's exactly what you wanted. Now, on the adverse side of that, if you were driving, I'm going to throw out one of my cars, a 1986 Ford Thunderbird V8. I think it was an 86. Don't hold me to that. With 239,000 miles on it. It needs new brakes. The transmission's about to go. Tires need replaced. The whole ball of wax is just not looking good. Now, let me ask you, is it there now a reason to buy? Yes. Because that car is broken, it's outdated, it's deficient in some way. Now I'll ask you, when you need a car, when your car's life is over, do you say to yourself, well, I'm going to go be sold a car today? Or do you tell your family, I got to buy a new car? You say, I want to buy a new car. Now the salesman might sell you on that car. The reality is you're there to buy it because you need it, okay? So hold on to those 2 philosophies as we proceed through today's webinar, because they're really going to help drive home the points of why some of the tactics we'll be talking about today. So in order to understand urgency, we have to start with the root of the problem, right? So why do clients wait, specifically during this time of the year? Why do they wait? Well, let's acknowledge the obvious stuff. Number 1, the holiday season's busy, right? Number 2, this is a big one, the news media. My goodness. Every time I open the news, I'm seeing something about mortgages or housing market or, new home builds. It's all over the place, right? So the news is really influencing things. The Federal Reserve, right? The Fed, interest rates, news media, all of these different things. Look, it's the holidays. It's expensive, right? Like, I don't know about y'all, but you have kids, like, starting to become a pretty big priority, right? A lot of money is going to be allocated towards gifts, holiday travel, flights, all kinds of different things. And those are the things that are inside the client's mind when they're saying, do I want to buy right now or not? Do I want to list right now or not? got to keep those things in mind. Okay. Moving in the winter. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but this was 20 years ago, but I remember moving out of an apartment in the winter. It was negative 20 degrees out here, right on the shores of Lake Erie in Cleveland. And it was not fun, right? And moving is not fun in the winter. And I think people are consciously thinking about that. So again, how do we get our clients thinking about things they are not thinking about without our influence to move them away from some of these fears, right? I may touch on losses versus or gains. Not sure if we'll have time. Hint, hint. But finally, I'm going to talk about how people are generally, they don't know things. And I always say to people like, look, before you became a realtor, how much did you know about buying a house? Right? I say that to mortgage pros. Before you were a mortgage pro, how much did you know about mortgages? And me, I didn't. Right? I sold cable TV and lawn care prior to working into the mortgage industry, right? But again, like the reality is that people don't know what they don't know. And it's up to us to influence this, okay? So let's get into this thing. Let's talk about creating holiday urgency, because here's the deal, folks. And I hate to be blunt. I really, really do. But urgency is not going to happen if you don't do something about it. Today is about proactivity. It's not about reactivity, okay? It's about doing and saying the things that other realtors are not going to be doing or saying. That's the only way to influence this decision. All right, so got to be ready to do stuff that maybe during the other times of the year you don't. And I mean more than just posting pictures, okay? So I want to start with the weight objection because it's ridiculously popular this time of the year. And what I find is salespeople in general, we take the bait whenever we get objections such as, I think I want to hold off, or I want to wait, or, you know, my spouse decided this, or we changed our minds, all this uneasiness, right? The reason I'm starting with this one is because I want to think about it, or let me wait, or let me run some numbers. This is, in my opinion, the most common objection a potential buyer or seller will give. Why? Because it's convenient, right? What are you going to tell me? I don't need to wait, right? So generally speaking, a good solid percent of the time, I mean, I'm higher than you might think. When a person gives you a think about it objection, it's usually something else. It's usually not really the problem. Now, as a sales professional, and realtors, you are a sales professional. How can you overcome a problem if it's not the real problem, right? You can't. You can't overcome a problem if it's not the real problem. And that's what this little tactic is all about. It's about level setting. It's about making sure you know where you stand in a place of reality with your client, not in a place of this make-believe, right? So very simple. And I'm going to ask you all, don't get lost in semantics today. Get lost in tactics. Get lost in what I'm doing here. So let me walk you through this. So here's the 3 steps I want you all to try. Okay, next time your client, know when it happens, because tis the season for this happening. Okay, when you get that hold off or wait objection, I want you to simply remember this expression. It's fun. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to the 1 to 10. I'll say that again. So, timely monopoly, right? Houses. Anyway, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to the 1 to 10. All right. Now let me show you what this might sound like. Okay. So potential home lister, on a scale of 1 to 10, honestly, I know you mentioned you want to wait, but level with me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. On a scale of 1 to 10, like how close are you to feeling about getting this actually started? Just level with me. I hear you saying you want to wait, but 1 to 10, how do you feel? Now what's going to happen here, folks, is you've activated the client's logical side of the mind. Okay, again, emotions and logics, 2 different sides of the brain. Okay, we won't get into the nitty-gritties there, right? But when you ask a person a sliding scale question, for example, 1 to 10, 1 to 5, you are, again, getting the logic side of the brain answering the question. And what that leads to generally is getting a more honest response. And I don't know about y'all, but in sales, honesty is good. I don't want to be, again, playing in a world of make-believe. Now, what's going to happen here is your client will respond with a number. And if they don't, just politely ask them, cool, do you mind putting a number on it just for my notes? Something like that. And what you're going to find is the client will probably give you, I don't know, probably somewhere between a 5 and a 7 is going to be the most common answer. Why? Well, they're polite, right? They don't want to hurt your feelings. So let's just level set here. If a client gives you a 5, they're probably a 3. If the client gives you a 7, they're probably a 5. If they give you an 8, they're probably a 7, so on and so forth. But remember, people by nature are going to be polite. All right, so they generally want you to feel good about the time they've spent with you. So That's okay. Whatever number they throw out is irrelevant. If it's a 9, great. If it's a 10, great. Whatever it is, what we're going to do is ask the client, why are we not closer to that 10? Just share with me, what are some of the reasons that we're not comfortable with moving forward with listing now versus in the spring? Can you please share with me those things? Now, what you're going to learn here is the reasons the client doesn't really want to list. It's not that I want to wait. I want to wait is a result of 2 or 3 other issues that I just don't have resolved in my mind yet, right? Now, if you remember earlier, I said sales is getting your clients to think about things they don't already know. Well, how do we do that if we don't know what their problems are? We can't, right? So again, a sliding scale question is going to allow you to flush out the real problem and address it appropriately. And, forgive the expression, but it's a good one. You cannot win a war if you're fighting the wrong battle. And don't get lost in the words there. Just think about it, from a explanation or a metaphor, right? If a client's objection is not really weight, it's that interest rates are too high, I can't afford it, I don't know if I want to do a house with a basement or not, right? Then what good is it trying to overcome a weight objection? It's not. It's like fighting a war if you're putting all your people in the wrong places. It doesn't make sense. Okay. So again, tip number 1 today is don't take the bait. All right. When your client gives you the holiday weight objection, to think about it, let me run it through. We'll talk in the spring. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to the 1 to 10 and pinpoint what the real problem is. It's absolutely necessary. Okay. Now, along those same lines, right, we can do things proactively to kind of pinpoint where some of our problem areas will be. And I don't think this is something that a lot of realtors generally think about. I've, again, spoken with and worked with many of you over the years. But generally speaking, we know that the driver of a weight objection right now is going to be one of the 3 things that you see on your screen. All right, number 1, interest rates. Interest rates are too high. I'm all concerned about it, right? Number 2, home prices are high. Let's acknowledge that's true, right? Home prices are high. My house is appreciated by an ungodly amount of money, and my taxes have too. Okay, I'm sure many of you are laughing and saying, me too. But number 3 is I want to wait till spring because of the cold, the weather. It's generally buying and selling season in the spring. But these are the 3 primary drivers of a weight objection. So if you pick up what I'm throwing down here, weight isn't real. It's generally going to be one of these 3. So running that 1 to 10 we talked about, we're going to figure out which one of these 3 it likely is. And now we can respond appropriately. Now, earlier I mentioned that we're going to be discussing gains and losses. Well, here you go. Okay. Say our client is holding off for interest rates, right? Well, what do they really lose by moving forward now versus waiting until the spring? And I understand there's all kinds of news about interest rates going down next year, but read into the news. It's not like the interest rates are going to drop to 5% overnight. If it does, that's going to be very bad. Okay, in general for the economy, just from what people have told me. But the reality is the difference in payment between the 5.99 that they could get right now and the 5.625 that they could get by waiting until the spring is so nominal. All right, maybe 20, 30 some dollars a month. It's so nominal, right? You can look at an amortization schedule and look for yourself, right? But that difference between a 599 and a 5625 or whatever, so small. Okay, now let me put that in context. Let's pretend that you are going to rent an apartment, right? And you saw an ad for an apartment online and you love the apartment. Like all the pictures are the apartment you want, right? You get there and, the apartment's listed at, let's call it 1,800. Okay, so you show up to the apartment place, the building manager shows you this beautiful apartment. And they're like, oh yeah, this one is just slightly larger. And instead of it being 1,800, this one's 1,835. Is that okay? Now, I'm going to be honest. Like, how many of you would be like, oh my gosh, I can't rent this apartment now. It's $35 more. Almost none of us, right? I would be, that would not make or break me moving forward on that apartment. So see what I'm saying here? $30 or $40 a month shouldn't be making or breaking a client on a mortgage, because much like an apartment, and let this one sink in for a minute, okay? Much like an apartment, mortgages are temporary. I don't know if you thought about that, but mortgages are temporary if you choose to treat them as such. As a mortgage expert, I will tell you right now that clients think that they're going to keep mortgages for 30 years. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The rarity of that is unbelievable these days. Okay, the average American is going to refinance, I don't know, between 5 and 7 years. Maybe it's less than that now. I bet it might be. Okay, so the reality is like, if your client doesn't like the extra $35 a month at the apartment, they can move in a couple of years. And that's the same thing with a mortgage. If you're like, oh my gosh, that $35 more because I'm doing the rate now versus later is so much, well then, you know what? Move in a couple of years, get out of that mortgage and get into a new one. You can reduce the term, you can reduce the rate, you might need cash in the future. And that's the reality of things, is people forget that emergencies happen, and the odds of a person refinancing in the lifetime of home ownership is exceptionally high. All right, so people need to understand that what they're losing today, the $30, $40 a month by doing it now versus later, they could lose out on by waiting that year or two to buy the house. Why? Because they're paying more in rent by staying in rental versus buying the new one. Right? Those home listers, right? They're waiting until spring and guess what? The market went down. So you just lost out on so much more. See where I'm coming from? We have to look at things from the perspective of there's more to lose than there is to gain. Okay, well, let's address home prices are too high. Okay, well, home prices since 1950, if you go ahead and look that up, Google it for yourself. Home prices since 1950 in the United States of America, you're going to see a graph, and you're going to see that graph hit about 2007 and do this, and then it goes right back up again. But if you look at look at it on a graph, like a line graph, it's a solid investment, right? So here's the reality. What you gain when you buy a home generally is you pay it down with each payment, and you do have a high probability over the time of ownership of earning money. It's just the reality of things. Look at the graphs for yourself. So our loss here by waiting is, are you going to spend another 12 to 24 months paying rent, making a landlord rich? Or are you going to start making yourself rich? Now, I don't know about you, but what's the lesser of two evils, right? Paying a few extra bucks a month or getting out of the underneath of a landlord. Leases are a year to get anything decent. So you're going to be there a year if we don't do it now, right? You're going to be in that house until at least spring, winter. Who knows what's going to happen, right? So there we go. How about the last one? I want to wait till spring, okay? Well, I totally get it, but realtors, you're going to know this one. Some of you might not, so I'm not again, bringing anything earth-shattering here, but look, doing things now in the winter, there's negotiation power, right? There's not going to be as many homes listed. There's not going to be as many homes available. So the power is really in the hands of the person doing the transaction. There's more competition in the spring generally. I'll tell you that from the mortgage standpoint. Our phones rang a heck of a lot more in the spring than they did in the winter, and interest rates had nothing to do with this. Okay? So there is generally more competition in the spring. So you got to be proactively, not reactively, discussing these points. Why? Because sales is getting your clients to think about things they are not thinking about without your influence. And if you don't do it, nobody will. If you don't do it, nobody will. All right. So again, these are your problem areas. Address them proactively, and you should be able to overcome them. You should be able to get a listing now. You should be able to get that buyer to go ahead and pull the trigger and get it done now and not worry about the $35 a month. Okay. So this one's fun. All right. I'm going to go ahead and throw myself under the bus here. All right. I love retail. All right. I do like it. I love things and treasures, from Roman coins to the snowboard collection to baseball cards, you name it. I just love it. Right. But I'm also married, and I'm sure many of you are as well. And anytime that I want to go buy something for myself, I generally will think about it strategically. So maybe I'll call and lower the cell phone bill, or maybe I'll be like, hey, I switched cable companies. We saved $150, right? And then I'll go buy get that store credit card and get that thing that I really wanted, because now I can say, it's okay. I found a way to pay for it. I lowered our bills over here. It's fine. It's not a problem. I think it's funny to laugh about, but it's true, right? And if we can, again, what is sales? That's right. It's getting your client to think about things they're not thinking about. So if we can help our clients find a way, which I'll explain in a minute, then we can justify costs. We can justify doing things now. Just like I can justify the Cabela's card that I took out. True story. Okay. So here's the reality, right? If your client is that concerned about the $35 a month they could save by waiting until the interest rates in the spring or even next year, I can't wait for interest rates. Well, tell you what, just don't dine out once a month. There you go. Right? Make your coffee at home 4 times a month. There you go. You can move forward now. You can get in the house now. You can stop paying the landlord, right? Streaming services. You know what, I'm thinking about this right now. My son just straight up does not watch Disney Plus anymore. That is going to be going away this afternoon. Okay. But cut those things out. There you go. Have a car being paid off soon. If I'm a realtor, these are questions I'm asking my clients. Do you have a car being paid off soon? Are there any expenses, any student loans coming to an end? Are there any credit cards that you plan to pay off and get rid of some different expenses? Talk to me about those things. Why? Because that helps us justify a more expensive house. That helps us justify taking a more expensive mortgage. Okay, hopefully everybody sees what I'm saying here, right? But we have to help our clients think about the things they're not thinking about. How do we help the client find another $100 in their budget to move forward now versus waiting for the affordability that may or may not occur? So look, I feel you. The news says what they'd say. Economists say what they say. But do any of us have a crystal ball? No, we do not. And that's what I used to say to my clients in mortgage all the time. I do not have a crystal ball. Look, I know what the news is saying, but none of us can really be like, oh yeah, that's for sure. Okay, world is a wild place. So again, help your clients find a way. Figure out what they're spending money on now that we can cut out of their lives and help them get into that house now, or help them list the house now instead of waiting till later. Okay, so new year, new you. Okay, this one's huge. I'm going to ask you all a question. If you could chime in the chat, let's see what people think here. I wrote it on the screen. It gave it away. No big deal. But here's the deal. Did you know that the most common commercial you'll see on TV from about December till, I don't know, early February is like, watch, you're going to see a plethora of Planet Fitness advertisements. 'Tis the season for exercise advertisements, okay? As a realtor, you have to use, I hate saying it this way, but we have to use our words to get people to see themselves in a new you. Are you painting a vision of what owning a home will feel like next year? Are you painting a vision of what owning a home will feel like if we can get you in there before Christmas? Are you discussing those things, or are you just pointing out things about the house and crossing your fingers and hoping for the best? Because what is sales again? Oh yeah, it's getting your clients to think about things they are not thinking about without your influence. Okay. So I want my clients thinking. I want them seeing themselves in the new house. I want you painting a vision and becoming a great storyteller to get them seeing the family coming over, to get them seeing the fact that they're already in there for the spring and they can get the seeds in the lawn planted and not have to wait till next year. Okay, whatever it is. And I'm just making this up as I go, but hopefully everybody gets what I'm saying. New year, new you, you paint the vision. Okay. Another thing you'd say, pay yourself. Stop paying the landlord. Stop paying the landlord. How many of you saw a client just taking their check and being like, here you go, landlord, right? Exactly. Remind your clients. I'm going to say it again. Mortgages are temporary. They're temporary. Okay. We have to let our clients understand the point that mortgages are not something you need to keep forever. In fact, if I was a realtor right now, I would be selling my clients on the fact that they need to be set up with a mortgage plan versus a mortgage. So for example, we'll put you in this for a year or two, then we're going to reevaluate. Many of my clients go to a 20-year at that point, depending on where the market moves. They cut time off of their loan. So don't get stuck in this, be fixated on this idea that it has to be 30. If 2 years from now, a 20-year is a phenomenal opportunity, we can cut 6-7 years off this thing. So it's not permanent. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Client? Great. Okay. So again, storytelling, we've already referenced that, but my friends, new year, new you, we've got to bring this perspective. It will not be there without our influence, okay? Pink bathroom. Now this one takes me back to when I was buying a house many, many moons ago, and I'm glad I bought when I did, because dang, you should see what these houses sell for today. But the house I looked at, right? Well, a few of the houses we looked at were in a wonderful neighborhood, amazing school system, like the house, right? Then you see the pink bathroom. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. If it's not pink, it's baby blue. And you all know what I'm talking about right now. Saw plenty of those on my home search. So think about this. When you run into the home with the pink bathroom, when you run into the home with the basement that's got some issues, right? When you run into that home with the driveway that's got some cracking that the client's all stuck on, right? Here's how I would explain to my clients what they do. So number one, put less money down. Okay, put less money down. Every $1,000 put down on a mortgage is only going to make a difference of about, I don't know, $6 or $7 a month. Are your clients, do they know that? Are they thinking about that? Okay, if they plan on putting a large amount of money down, then maybe get them to consider, like, this house is not that bad. Like, I want you to consider putting less money down. We'll take care of the pink bathroom now, and we'll put you on a mortgage plan versus getting you stuck in this mindset that this mortgage is set it and forget it forever. Okay? Put less money down. Get on the phone with your mortgage professional and say, hey, are there solutions that we can put less money down? Do you have any lender-paid PMI options? Some of you are probably asking, well, what about PMI? Well, yeah, tons of lenders out there have lender-paid PMI products where we can either eliminate the PMI and or reduce it to where it's not even a huge deal. All right, so you want to fix the pink bathroom and you want to have the cash to do it when you move in versus taking a second mortgage out a year from now? I would do that. Why? A second lien on a property doesn't make things easier for you. I'm telling you right now, for future financial transactions, makes it a little more difficult. Just keeping it real. Okay. So again, cash is king right now, right? Inspire people to maybe keep some of that cash in their pocket. Take care of the problem with cash instead of borrowing at a personal loan, again, 6 months from now on a construction or a home improvement loan at 13%. Doesn't make any sense. Cash is king right now. Use it. The other thing you can talk about is like, look, yeah, we're going to spend some of the down payment on the house, but you all know bathrooms and kitchens are an amazing addition to values of homes. It's a good thing. I don't know about y'all, but if you fix the bathroom, it could be a buffer against home values dropping potentially. So I don't know. Are we getting our clients to think about this stuff? I don't know, because these mortgages are temporary. We should be using them as a vehicle over 30 years. And do you keep a vehicle for 30 years? No, you don't. I don't keep a vehicle for more than 2 years. I'm crazy about it. I don't know what my problem is. Okay. But that's the reality, right? The pink bathroom can't slow you down. You've got to become comfortable with creativity. You got to become comfortable building a rock solid relationship with the mortgage professionals you work with so that you can get them on the horn right away and get creative, less money down, see what we got going on. All right. So let's get into a few final tips and takeaways. Okay. I'm going to say that number one, we have to get our clients thinking about things that they are not already thinking about. All right. Number two, again, there's only two reasons people buy is number one, they don't have it and they need it. So those are your home buyers, right? Or they already have it, but it is outdated. It is deficient in some way. And those are your home sellers, right? So those are the primary drivers of our sales. All right. Number two, got to get people thinking about the pink bathroom, right? We can't get them stuck on this idea that just ends the deal, right? Think creatively. Number three, run the 1 to 10 or a sliding scale question. Look, the weight objection is going to be thrown at you left and right this time of year. Left and right. Don't take the bait. On a scale of 1 to 10, share with me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. How do you feel about buying? How do you feel about listing? Can you level with me? There you go. You're going to flesh out your real problem every single time. Okay. So my friends, my name is Rob Peoples. I'm a sales coach. And if you'd like to connect with me, there's my little QR code. You can connect with me just by scanning that right now on LinkedIn. And if you happen to be interested in any sales coaching, please hit me up. I've got some individual spaces available for realtors, mortgage professionals, and salespeople, quite frankly, in any industry. If you're interested in talking to me about some very affordable and outside the box ways of looking at sales coaching, please contact me using one of the methods or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm regularly posting videos and new content from articles to shorts to all kinds of sales tips that you can apply to your business. So my friends, my name is Rob Peoples. Thank you so much for joining me. If you learned even one thing today that you consider a win, then I consider it a win as well. So again, thank you to all of you for joining us. I hope your holiday season is profitable and prosperous. And we hope to see you again sometime. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, Six Figure Agent Secrets. And I hope to see you next time. Take care of yourselves.